Good Monday morning, everybody. I'm Dave Furtado.
And I'm meteorologist Jefferson Donovan.
And welcome to KEPR QUIK, your latest local news and weather, commercial-free in 20 minutes or less. And we're going to jump right over to weather because it's hot, Jefferson.
It is going to be hot. As we take a look at our weather headlines today, we are going to be abnormally hot for both today and tomorrow. Today is going to be the hottest day of the forecast period. And in fact, there are some red flag warnings that have been issued. Our first red flag warnings of 2025 before cooler high temperatures arrive on Thursday. Taking just a quick look, there are heat warnings or heat alerts in place across our viewing area. Heat advisories in orange, heat warnings in that magenta color. These heat alerts do go until 9 p.m. on Tuesday, as we could see highs up to around 105 degrees. We'll take a closer look at temperatures and those mentioned red flag warnings coming up.
Thanks, Jefferson. We'll begin this morning in Grant County. Authorities are investigating after a fatal crash in Quincy. State troopers say it happened on State Route 281 near the intersection of Road 9 Northwest. The man who died was driving at a high rate of speed and struck the back of another car, say troopers. That driver was uninjured. Investigators are looking into what caused the crash. In Ellensburg, police say one man is dead following a shooting early Saturday morning. Officers say they responded to the area of Chestnut Street and Helena Avenue at around 2 a.m., where they discovered a man with gunshot wounds. He was transported to Kittitas Valley Hospital, where he eventually died. Witnesses at the scene helped lead to the arrest of a 20-year-old man. He is currently booked into Kittitas County Jail on charges of first-degree murder and attempted second-degree murder after it was determined he was shooting at another person as well. The investigation is still ongoing, and anyone with information is asked to contact the Ellensburg Police Department via the non-emergency dispatch number. Police in Walla Walla are investigating after a large fight late Friday night ended with one person shot and another with injuries from a baseball bat. Officers say it happened at around 11:45 p.m. in the 1600 block of Cambridge Drive. Arriving officers found someone who had been hit with a bat. Both people who were injured are expected to survive, and anyone with information is asked to contact the Walla Walla Police Department. That number's on your screen. A man is facing several charges for a shooting that Yakima police say happened during an argument. It happened at about 9:30 Thursday morning in the 700 block of South 3rd Street. Police say during the argument, one of the men pulled out a gun and shot the other in the chest. The victim is now in stable condition. The shooter fled the scene, police say, but was found Thursday night and taken into custody without incident. The 30-year-old suspect now faces charges of drive-by shooting, first-degree assault, and unlawful possession of a firearm. Pasco police are looking for a person of interest as part of their investigation into a recent shooting. They released this picture of a man in a Dodgers hat. They say on May 25th at around 2:15 in the morning, there was a shooting outside El Rancho de las Vacas on South 4th Avenue. Anyone with information about this man is asked to contact Pasco police. A Mabton woman has been accused of stomping a dog to death and violating a no-contact order. Yakima County Sheriff's deputies were called out to the 800 block of Vance Road at around 8:15 p.m. Tuesday for a report of an unwanted guest. When deputies arrived, a man told them a woman stole a dog from his property and took it next door, where she stomped on it and killed it, then proceeded to leave the dog's body at the Mabton Cemetery. The woman was booked into the Yakima County Jail and is facing charges of first-degree animal cruelty, among other charges. If convicted, she could face 5 years in prison, a $10,000 fine, or both. The man accused of stealing at least $70,000 from a small town in rural Adams County is now facing even more charges for mail theft. The man used to be the town clerk in Hatton, but he resigned during an investigation by the Washington State Auditor's Office. Then he got a job with the post office and served as the town's mailman. Eventually, authorities served a search warrant at his house as part of their investigation and found over 70 pieces of mail that didn't belong to him. The man is facing 7 counts of mail theft. It's not clear if he's being federally charged, but if he is, each offense carries up to 5 years in jail and a $250,000 fine. Police throughout the Tri-Cities have been conducting traffic operations aimed at stopping dangerous habits. These are paid for by the Washington Traffic Safety Commission. Officers have been conducting as many as 24 traffic stops, targeting drivers using their cell phones and not wearing their seatbelts. Officials with the State Traffic Safety Commission say it's a battle of complacency and drivers should stay cognizant of distractions. The goal of these operations, to keep our roads safe, especially as the number of crashes rises during the summer months. And with that, Jefferson, we are entering or already in the deadliest 100 days on Washington roadways. So as folks get out there to do anything to beat the heat, drive around, maybe find some waterways, they're going to have to be cognizant of being on the roads. But it's hot, hot, hot.
Yeah, absolutely. Use caution on the roads, and then just use caution if you're out and about, because these temperatures are so hot in the forecast area. Heat-related illnesses are certainly going to be possible. Let's just take a look at forecast high temperatures for today. In the Tri-Cities, we are going to be looking at high temperatures climbing to around 105 degrees today. For the Yakima Valley, temperatures will climb between 100 and 105 degrees today, upper 90s to low 100s for the Kittitas Valley, with upper 90s to low 100s for the Blue Mountain foothills as well. Now, these temperatures today are abnormally hot. In fact, some records are going to be challenged today. In the Tri-Cities, we have a good opportunity to tie the record of 104 degrees that was set all the way back in 1918 for Yakima, Walla Walla, and Ellensburg. All three of those communities have shots at breaking records today, and all three of those records were set back in 2015, and even Pendleton will have a good opportunity to at least will have a chance to reach out and tie the record of 103 degrees that was again set back in 1918. So an abnormally hot day coming our way for today. Now let's talk about the wind. For many of us in our viewing area on this Monday, we will see light wind, although this evening in Yakima, we could see gusts as high as 25 miles per hour, with gusts as high as 35 miles per hour coming this afternoon for Ellensburg. As we go into tomorrow, all of us will feel at least a light breeze, although in Ellensburg we could see winds gusting as high as 35 miles per hour. With the presence of some of these breezy winds with the hot and dry conditions, red flag warnings have been issued for all areas in these pink colors from 2 p.m. this afternoon until 8 p.m. on Tuesday. Breezy wind and low relative humidity will promote high fire danger, so please practice that fire safety. We don't need any blazes getting out of hand. Now, the next 2 days after today look like this. On Tuesday, we will be looking at upper 90s to low 100s across eastern Washington and northeast Oregon. Still very hot for tomorrow, as you can clearly see. And then even Wednesday will stay hot with upper 80s to mid 90s. By the time we get to Thursday, though, there will finally be some heat relief. Now I'm going to throw it back to Dave.
Thanks, Jefferson. We got some more local news for you. About 40% of the state's farm workforce is made up of those under the H-2A program, providing legal means for foreign workers to come to the U.S. to do seasonal farm labor. In fact, numbers from the state's Employment Security Department show an increase of over 29,000 H-2A workers since 2013. For years, that program has undergone attempts to modernize it, and District 4 Representative Dan Newhouse has been part of that effort. Last month, he reintroduced bipartisan legislation aimed at laying the groundwork for negotiations to find solutions to burdens in the program as it stands.
I'm optimistic that we can get something done here. You know, the agricultural industry demands it. With, you know, the labor issue just keeps getting worse. And we have, the bottom line is, and you said that, Americans are not willing to do the work that we need on the farms and ranches around the country. We need these people in order to produce the food and fiber that this country needs. And so it's absolutely imperative we do this.
Now, this latest reform push has received a Republican-led full House of bipartisan support and has been referred to several committees. Newhouse says he hopes the bill will make it to the president's desk sometime late fall or early spring, but notes it may not be the same bill they started with, as a slew of lawmakers will get their fingerprints on it as well. Our conversation with the congressman also touched on the massive tax cuts and spending bill that's been in the upper chamber for about 3.5 weeks now, and it will likely see changes. But as it stands, it would add trillions to the nation's debt over the next decade. In a newly revised report from the Congressional Budget Office, the debt would increase by an estimated $2.4 trillion if the package is passed as is. The bill includes about $3.75 trillion in tax cuts via extension of the president's 2017 cuts, and some new ones he campaigned on, along with less than half of that amount in federal spending cuts. We caught up with District 4 Representative Newhouse, who says the legislation has the largest spending decrease in U.S. history while avoiding the nation's largest ever tax increase.
And on an annual basis, the federal government spends about $2 trillion more a year than they take in. We have about a $36 trillion debt. Both of those things tell me that this is not a sustainable path forward for the federal government. We have got to make some difficult decisions and make some huge changes in how the federal government operates. People don't want to pay more taxes. We hear that message loud and clearly every day.
Now, the report also says the bill will kick nearly 11 million people off of Medicaid, which is more than the population of the 10 smallest U.S. states combined. It'll come amid the implementation of proposed work requirements for able-bodied adults up to the age of 65. Newhouse says those requirements are a 20-hour-a-week job, a training program or school, or volunteer work. He acknowledged a huge chunk of his district, about 40% of people, are on Medicaid, calling it an important program.
My goal has always been to make sure that those people that need Medicaid, that this program is available to them. If we don't do anything, The Medicaid program, as we know it, is at risk of failure. We will not be able to provide the necessary medical attention to the people that really need it. And I want to avoid that.
For more information on our conversation with the representative, head over to our website, KEPRtv.com. And a federal judge is temporarily blocking the Trump administration's termination of AmeriCorps. The ruling comes following a lawsuit from 24 states, including Washington, after the Trump administration fired nearly 85% of AmeriCorps employees and cut roughly $400 million worth of grants back in April. In part of a statement from the United Way of Benton and Franklin counties who oversee local AmeriCorps operations, they say, quote, "At this point, we are awaiting further guidance from Serve Washington regarding the immediate and long-term implications of the ruling. It's important to note that the reinstatement currently only affects the remainder of this year, this program year, and does not address future funding or programming. We remain hopeful that the AmeriCorps program will be fully restored and funded, not just for the benefit of our local community, but for communities across the country." Switching gears this morning, the Nob Hill Boulevard overpass will be closed to one lane starting today. The restriction will last until June 18th and will be in place for 24 hours a day. The lane closure is due to a WashDOT project where a broken bridge joint will be replaced. According to the city of Yakima, traffic delays are likely and drivers should use alternate routes until the project is completed. Local advocate Brian Harris is raising funds and awareness for the Emily Harris Memorial Foundation to support local domestic violence survivors. Brian will be spending a total of 72 hours in a dog kennel at Harris Used Cars in Sela in memory of his daughter Emily, who was killed in 2020. Harris is living in a dog kennel until tomorrow, symbolizing the confinement and isolation many domestic violence survivors endure. You can contact Harris at the number on your screen for more information. Folks across the Yakima Valley came out on Sunday for the 6th annual Yakima Mile. The 1-mile race went along Yakima Avenue from Cafe 11th Avenue to just after Cowiche Canyon Kitchen. The event included heat races like the men's and women's elite mile, family mile, dog mile, and more. And also at the Yakima Mile was the Miles Against Violence Run, which was run by Heidi Roberts. Roberts is an assistant coach for the Sela High School girls cross country team and the distance group in track and field. She organizes the Miles Against Violence, which raises awareness for domestic violence and has funded over $70,000 for the YWCA of Yakima and their programs for DV survivors since it first started in 2022. Roberts started at the same time as the first heat, which was the Family Mile, and ran continuous laps up and down that 1-mile stretch. And finally, the Tri-City Raceway hosted the annual Kids Dig Rigs event on Saturday, which brought out families and supported a good cause. KEPR's Zane Whitaker stopped by and tells us more.
This is better than sitting in the home on the Xbox or the technology, right? We can get out and maybe brighten somebody's day.
Saturday and Sunday, the track was full with families and fun, giving kids a chance to see and even operate heavy equipment.
My favorite part is just showing the new generation what we're doing. We want to encourage people into our trade, show kids that when they grow up, they could be just like us.
Show them what's out there for opportunities in life, you know. You don't have to just focus at working behind a computer or in a cubicle, that it takes these type of people to build this community. So we are endorsing the industry to keep it thriving and strong to build our communities. And we're also endorsing, you know, just anything we can help for that year.
This year, the proceeds are going to 2 different nonprofit community organizations. Spectrum Studios works with young adults living with autism after they graduate from high school.
We're raising funds for our new community center called Empower Center for Growth, which will be a different twist on a community center that'll have vocational and life skills. It's going to be a place that these young adults really need here in the Tri-Cities, a place to come.
The other nonprofit is Safe Harbor Support Center, supporting families and children in crisis.
We're so grateful. They've always been such a huge supporter of the community, so we're just very grateful that they chose us this year, and they've been great to work with. They really care about the community, and making sure it's a fun event for the whole family has been so fun.
And then next year, who knows what it's going to be, but you know, that's what it is. It's about people getting out, let them know what we do to build our communities and keep putting back into them.
Reporting from the Tri-City Raceway in West Richland, Aiden Whitaker, Action News.
KEPR's Dan Whitaker, thank you, and thank you for watching this inaugural episode of KEPR QUIK. For more local news and weather, you can head over to our websites, KEPR and KIMETV.com, as well as our Facebook pages. But while you're here, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to keep up with our latest mini newscasts Monday through Friday. Have a wonderful day.